I came home from a 12-hour shift to find my well, the one my grandfather dug by hand, filled to the brim with solid gray concrete. My heart didn't just sink, it shattered. For a moment, the world went silent, the humming of the massive construction site next door fading into a dull roar. That well wasn't just a source of water, it was the lifeblood of my small organic farm, the last piece of my family's legacy. The site supervisor, a man with a clipboard and a condescending smirk, told me it was an unfortunate accident. He said his crew mistook it for an old septic tank and offered a paltry sum, barely enough to cover a week's lost income, as a goodwill gesture. He told me to be reasonable, to understand that progress has a price. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by the sealed well, the cold concrete radiating a finality that chilled me to the bone. They thought they had buried a nuisance, a minor obstacle in their path to profit. They had no idea they had just unearthed a fight I was born to win. The next morning, instead of calling a lawyer, I started digging, not for water, but for history. My grandfather had been meticulous, keeping every deed, every survey map, every permit dating back to the 1940s, buried deep in a dusty trunk. I found it, a forgotten easement, a sliver of land no wider than a footpath, that ran directly through the middle of their construction site. This tiny, overlooked strip of dirt was still legally mine. It was the only access road for their heavy machinery. By dawn, my beat-up pickup truck was parked squarely on that path. A large, hand-painted sign leaning against its side, private property, nitrogen monoxide, trespassing. The chaos was immediate. Trucks backed up for miles. The smirking supervisor's face turned from red to purple as he screamed about police and lawsuits. I just sat in my truck, sipping coffee, and pointed to the sign. When the sheriff arrived, I didn't argue. I simply handed him the original, notarized easement document from 1947. He read it, looked at their multi-million-dollar project brought to a standstill, and told the supervisor, "Sir, you're on his land." They couldn't move forward. They couldn't move back. My price for moving my truck was simple: drill me a new, deeper well, compensate for every last cent of my lost crops, and issue a public apology for destroying a piece of history. They called me unreasonable. I called it justice. If you've ever felt like your voice was drowned out by the powerful, and this story resonated with that quiet strength inside you, a like on this video would mean more than you know. Remember, the world might try to pave over what you hold dear, but true strength isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about knowing the ground you stand on and refusing to be moved.